Hi, I'm Phil Palucha from Billionaires in Boxers, and you are about to engage with Up Level Your Communication, hosted by Miluna. Wow, this is going to be powerful. Communication is at the heart of everything that is good about business and about sharing with your fellow humans, and Miluna is phenomenal at helping you share that message and also interview some pretty special and amazing guests too. Check it out right now.
Welcome to Up Level Your Communication. I'm your host, Dr. Miluna Fausch. Listen to the music of your soul. Your voice matters, and on this show, expert guests will talk about the voice and intentional, enlightened communication, because this is how you will influence and impact the world. Welcome to Up Level Your Communication. My guest today is an artist, filmmaker, PhD candidate in psychology, and she opened a purpose-driven, immersive gallery, what she calls a safe haven in New Haven, Connecticut. She has created a gorgeous space where folks can be fed, nurtured, I'm going to say nourished and inspired, which she calls the table and gallery. And here is her message for us. Through the arts, we have the power to redefine personal growth, reinvent our businesses, reimagine our communities, and unlock our greatest potential. And the founder of this glorious space, Sonal Soveni, is here with us today. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you. I love the intro. Thank you.
You're so welcome. Tell us a little bit more about that message, Sonal. What does that mean?
What initially started off as finding myself in this process and investing in my personal healing and transformation. And as an entrepreneur and trying to figure life out, this was the best solution for myself. So the table and gallery, my healing and transformational journey gave birth to the table and gallery. It became my safe space. And it was a place where I was yearning to be seen and heard. And I wanted to ensure that every single talent that comes in to collaborate has a safe space to be seen and heard.
Now, I particularly love what you said to me. I opened this space using what I know and what I love. Would you share with us your background in hospitality and why you left what you said is a toxic, male-driven environment?
Yeah. And so being a female in a male-dominated, and I'm happy to see now there's more women in the hospitality industry, more female chefs. At that time, it was not the healthiest environment. It became toxic. And I told myself I would never, ever go back to the restaurant industry. And when I found the space, it came with the kitchen. So my PTSD and being triggered, being the kitchen. And I said to myself, okay, how am I going to make this work? Because I can only sell so much art that's going to cover my overhead. And as a filmmaker, I can only do so much utilizing it to screen films. So I had to think fast. And that was using myself as a case study, going into the kitchen and learning to put my shoulders down and saying, you know what, it's okay. It's okay to be in this environment. It's only me. And how am I going to connect what I love, which is art, with food? And that's when I started looking around and seeing all of these ingredients. And then I realized food has natural sources of color. So I started playing with different ingredients and looking at the plate as a canvas of art. And I made that connection, and I was able to change the narratives in the kitchen by uniting art with food.
Love that. Why is it so important for us to share our stories in our own unique way?
It's a way we heal. It's collective healing. And I remember, as a child watching my grandfather have these potlucks and weekly dinners where everyone would congregate and bring their own dish, and we would all sit down on the floor, and life didn't, we all have all of the burdens that we carry, but it doesn't feel so burdensome because we're breaking bread with one another. And alongside, those potlucks, we would have music. So he would pull out the tabla and play the drums, and we each would have an instrument. So it was not just storytelling around food, but it was also uniting through music, and it was so interactive that subconsciously I didn't realize I was following my grandfather's ideals when I put this space together, because this is what I grew up seeing. And when artists come around the table, and I like to say there's no starving artists at the table and gallery, but it's also we're nourishing each other's soul, not just our belly.
Thank you for saying no starving artist. That's a phrase that has always bothered me. I do not want that for any of us. Thank you. The healing power of art and, music and food. I love it. You shared with me that you headed to nature, prayer, and painting to solidify your vision for the table and gallery. Tell us what happened.
So during my sabbatical, I took some time off with dealing with humans, and I said, I'm going to immerse myself in nature and find healing through nature. And that's when I realized I was in a natural, immersive world. The sun was shining, giving light. The birds are singing. The trees are abundant with fruits. And I see all the animals just coexisting together. And it was so beautiful. So it was all the five senses coming alive. And while I'm immersed, that was when, for the first time in a decade, I picked up a paintbrush and said, I'm just going to paint, because I wanted to have that internal dialogue with myself. And it was through painting, I was processing all of these traumatic moments in my life. And I was able to understand that I can make this beautiful again. I can add this color and change the narrative of that trauma into something beautiful. So it was changing my pain into purpose and understanding that I do not need to be identified by these experiences, and I can transform these experiences into something beautiful.
Wow. Now, I love all of the folks you consulted to create a space that welcomes us on every level, from award-winning Michelin chefs to neuroscientists, artists, Grammy-nominated musicians, all the way to Emmy-winning filmmakers. Why was that so important to you and to the sanctuary that you gave birth to?
So as a global citizen and seeing my family live and reside in 4 continents and understanding the work, the hard work and dedication that goes into showing up. You don't achieve these accolades overnight. It's commitment, it's dedication, and it's showing up. And I wanted to connect local creatives to these established professionals to allow them to continue learning and be inspired that you can also achieve it. It is achievable, it's obtainable, and it's open to everyone. So I wanted to connect that, being a local creative, being in a local community, inspiring those around me as I'm building community, that there is abundant resources that I'm going to bring in to help you continue doing what you're doing and be inspired. Because I believe that when I'm winning, everyone's winning. When you're winning, we're all winning. So it's a win-win situation for us all.
Global citizens. Yes, we are. Thank you. So now, how has your communication influenced your success?
Okay, so when I first opened this space, now when you're immersed in the natural environment and not having dialogue with humans, and then you go to New Haven, aka concrete jungle, it's a city, there's people want to know who you are. And I had social anxiety when I started the table and gallery. My very first event, they had a band, they had a microphone, and they said, "We would love to hear your story." And I was completely terrified. I said, "Why do you want to hear my story?" They said, "You have a compelling story to share." And I said, "Yeah, but that was just with you." They said, "No, there's 72 people in this room and they want to hear it too." So I looked around and I thought to myself, I'm never going to see these people again. So I'm just going to share my story and my why behind the table and gallery. And that's when I started to really strengthen my voice and I started to believe in myself. And I felt confident. And then I realized communication is key. If you're not communicating your why, your story, then how can you help someone? So, yeah, it's, and that's now I'm understanding that your voice is powerful. Your voice can impact, even if it impacts one person, it's still changing someone's life.
It's making a difference.
Yeah.
Isn't it? I love it. Sounds like you're finding your voice. Now, your purpose-driven space, also love that, purpose-driven, intentional, is to ensure talent is seen and appreciated in sharing their gifts to the world. Now, I get hungry just looking at the menus for your chef dinners. It's very exciting. Tell us a little more about what food means to you and about the upcoming chef's dinner.
Food is nourishment. Food is the universal language. I mean, how many conversations have we had over food that bring, food brings people together. If you want attention, just put a plate of food or a platter of food on a table and people will come. And it's just a natural way to spark interest, to find a common ground. And you learn from one another through food. Oh, well, how did your mother make it? Or how did your grandmother make it? And what did you use? How did you make that? This is how we've sustained humanity through the very beginning. It started when we were in the womb. We were immersed in the womb. And we were being nourished. And now you're creating an atmosphere in the real world where you're nourishing that individual by having this meal. And it's not just storytelling through that experience, but then now I'm giving that opportunity to say to the culinary chef, what is your purpose behind creating this dish?
And the studies of the blue zones around the world, you might have heard of that. And it sounds like part of your background, your family, your grandfather, that it's not always people eating the healthiest food, but the point is they're at a table with people who love them, family, friends, and community, which gives us more health and well-being and longer lives. It's all connected, isn't it?
Yeah, you made a valid point there. Yeah,
Now tell us about your current art exhibit. I think you have four artists right now? And how long are artists featured at your gallery?
So, currently it's 6 artists, and it is the blessing because I'm partnering with private institutions and organizations where they're embracing arts and the powerful healing benefit and the narrative and the stories that take place. So aligning with the right individual and organization that understand what I'm doing. And those artists have now come on board, and this current exhibition is called Metamorphosis. And it aligned exactly with what I'm going through and what the business is going through. We're going through a profound change because now it's bringing more visibility to what is happening at the table and gallery. And it's also embracing the New Haven community. So partnering with Arts and Ideas International Festival, which is coming up in June. And that's going to bring in more artists, not just globally, but then it's bringing in more artists locally to learn from one another. So I'm extremely excited about that collaboration as well happening in June. So it's just the momentum of being there and showing up for other people is now the artists are showing up for the table and gallery. So it's a pinch me moment.
That's fabulous. Pinch me moment. For the audience, we can all relate to that, the feeling, yes? It's beautiful. Now, you call your space immersive. So would you share what that means? And do you have plans to add anything else to your space? Or do you feel it's serving the mission and purpose already?
The space is serving the mission and the purpose for New Haven, for that, quaint little space that is manageable for me to run one woman show, FYI, but with a team, I'm blessed with a great team of culinary chefs, artists, musicians that are, making it a melting pot of global talent. But now what's happening is there's other cities that are looking to collaborate with the Table and Gallery.
Ooh.
So the Table and Gallery is putting together a global tour where instead of the artists coming or flying in from that city to New Haven, I'm going to them.
Ooh, that's exciting. Coming to a city near you. Stay tuned. Oh my gosh. That is so exciting. Ooh, you must feel. What do you feel about that? How does that feel?
If I can overcome the trials and tribulations of my experiences and give birth to the Table and Gallery, then you can make the impossible possible.
Make the impossible possible. Let's just sit on that for a minute. For all of us out here who need inspiration and those of you listening right now to us and being with us, take that in. Now, you also have something else exciting happening at your gallery, something I personally love, cabaret. It's one of my favorite art forms. I think it's personal, it's intimate. I myself have written 2 one-woman cabaret shows and delivered them. So I have to say, cabaret rocks my world. Tell us, it's very exciting. Tell us who you have performing cabaret at your gallery.
Yes. So I have co-producers, Abby and Benjamin, and they are from Yale University. They're undergrads, and they are with the Yale Artist Cabaret. They're going to do a pop-up where they're going to be highlighting the pop songs. It's going to be fun. It's going to be interactive. It's going to be entertaining. And it's just an honor and a treat to just have these amazing young faces that are just so ambitious, so excited, And it gives me more energy to make sure that it's a success because it's like a ball of energy coming in and we are going to make this such a success. It's going to be a home run.
Wow. That's fantastic. Now, I'm going to put you on the spot even more for folks traveling in. So they want to come to the Table and Gallery, New Haven, Connecticut, here in the United States. Do you have a particular hotel or what do you recommend as far as people staying, flying, driving by train? I think you can get there by train. Is that right?
Yeah, you can take the Metro North, depending where you're coming from. So New Haven is located it's nestled between Boston and New York City. And it's also the world's best pizza capital of the world. So if you have this fun fact, we have best pizza.
Wow, I did not know that. I must travel north.
Yeah. And so Chapel Street is a historical district, and Chapel Street is next to the Yale University, Yale Art Gallery, the Yale British Museum. I mean, I'm talking about steps away. And along that, there are hotels within walking distance. I mean, the closest one would be 7 minutes away. So finding a place to stay is not an issue because New Haven is similar to New York City. But I like to call it's a suburb of New York City. So it's like a mini little city in itself and everything is within walking.
So convenient. How fabulous is that? How did you choose the location? Did you look at a number of spots or you arrived there and just had a feeling, I think this could be the place?
You know, to be honest with you, through painting and praying, it was very miraculous how I'm a serial entrepreneur, so I'm always looking for opportunity. When this opportunity came up, I was just painting and praying without any expectation that I need to do something. I need to change the way I'm living my life. And when you are committed to yourself, doors start opening unexpectedly. And that's when I had to tell the story to the owner, and he was asking me, well, why should I give you this? So it's me and 3 other men who are also vouching for the same thing.
Oh.
And I'm showing up every day and having coffee and having conversations with the owner and saying, I am the right candidate to sell this thing.
Wow.
And I had to be vulnerable. And that is something I had to embrace. When you truly want something, you have to embrace your vulnerability in order to explain your why. You can't just explain your why without being vulnerable. And I was being vulnerable. I think I would say after my 8th visit, I said, okay. I mean, at that point, I was just vulnerable. I said, this is my why. And he was sold. Here's the key, and it's all yours.
Wow. So it was your intention, your persistence, your commitment. You showed up several days in a row. Did you have the feeling it sounds like you already thought, this needs to be mine. Did you have that feeling right away?
I already had visioned the keys in my hand.
I love it.
Before I had that conversation, I already felt the keys.
That is fabulous. So there it came to be. You visioned that and manifested that, and here you are. How long have you been open now? 2 years. Happy anniversary, 2 years.
I'm alive.
Let's do a happy dance. I love it. Because I'll just make a strong opinion. Of course, I have many. What the world needs is more beauty, art, music, beautiful food, community. We're having such a rough time out there now, and what we need to do is come together, yes?
We need to come together, and we need to understand that healing is accessible to everyone. And I really highlight healing. I have healing ceremonies. Every medium that you're choosing to utilize to create, whether it's food, art, music, or writing, singing, you're healing. We are constantly traumatized. And, trauma does not discriminate who you are, where you're from, what culture, what gender. Trauma does not discriminate. And in the world, especially now, it's so important for us to embrace healing and understand what healing looks like for one another. And having all of these mediums being exhibited and having these stories behind these mediums where the musician comes in and says, I picked up doing singing, or I picked up playing the guitar because I needed to process my pain, but I just did not want to have that talk therapy. I wanted to do it through the art. So allowing everyone to understand that you can feel collectively, and there is a community within the table and gallery that will honor you and your story.
Oh, that is so gorgeous. I know last week I had a sound bath session because perhaps similar to you, vibrations, music, and sound is what continues to help me heal from trauma. So folks, to our audience, you've heard it. This is a place of healing, of beauty, of some of the best artists and chefs around, which Sonal attracts at her beautiful space, the Table and Gallery, again, New Haven, Connecticut, centrally located there. And the website is thetableandgallery.com, spelled out thetableand gallery.com. Sonal, thank you so much for sharing your story, telling us what you're up to, where you're headed with all this, and just celebrating your gorgeous, immersive sanctuary of healing. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me and giving me a platform where I'm seen and heard. And I'm just filled with gratitude that you've taken the time to meet with me, because you're such an amazing human being. Well, you get it. So thank you.
Oh, it is my pleasure. And for the audience, we're so glad you've been here